What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 11 of building a clone base. You guys managed to catch last week's update. I worked a bunch on building up some trees and doing some terrain work. Also worked a little bit on this lower part of the base, and then all the minifigures you see set up, I just did that for the thumbnail. I thought it looked pretty cool. Now, if you remember from a few weeks ago, I was running out of brick, and more specifically light bluish gray brick. I need it for the structures in not only the base but the other buildings. So I wanted to go check out the Lego store before I just ordered a bunch online, because I'm sure, as we all know, that can be pretty pricey. And we did end up getting lucky on one part, and here's a little haul from the Lego store. I did end up buying the Sarlacc pit as well. I know it's pretty overpriced, but I wanted to get it for the Neem Nub figure. And then we also got this GWP and 2 boxes of the 1x3 light bluish gray brick. So it's not exactly what I wanted, but it's gonna work. And then I topped off the boxes with some blue and black plate for future projects when we're doing water and such. So now that we got at least some parts to build up these walls, I want to get working on the base again. And the first thing I want to do is work on this lower part and get it attached and fully built up before we go ahead and build up the rest of the walls. I've got to say, I'm really impressed with the clutch power of these 2 little ballpoint joints that are holding this whole thing up. Mind you, it's supported on both the bottom and the top, but that whole angled piece of plate, which is quite a few plates and is relatively heavy, is just held up by those 2 little ballpoint joints, as you can see. I reinforced it with a couple inverted slopes there, and it's holding nicely. I'm really happy with that. The other thing I did was build up these 2 little panels here. Actually, my sister came up with these 2 panels with the yellow cylinders in them. I think they look pretty cool. It just adds a little bit more texture and detail to that area. And then I went ahead and got this one prepared. It's just got some red and gray. It's going to go on there. And I love just coming up with cool little panels and grates like this. It just gives a lot more detail and texture to all these areas. Now, I'm liking this area. We are going to come back and add crates and everything, just getting some more greeble and details in there. But now that that smaller structure is connected to the main structure of the walls, I want to build up the rest of the base here and get the arch built in that main doorway where the tanks and everything are going to go out. Now that I got it up to snuff with how high I want the hangar bay to be, I can think about putting the roof on and lighting later on in the video, but for right now I just want to look at some of the details I added on the side. Like these 2 little pipes here, they're just connected in the wall. I think they look pretty good. Those palisade bricks do a nice job of conveying that there's a couple pipes running up the wall, so I added a couple of those there. And just taking a look and a step back from here, you can see the base starting to come together, and I'm really happy with the structure of it so far. Now I want to take some time to go back to this lower part of the base and add in some details because it's looking pretty barren right now. So the first thing I want to do is add this helmet rack, put it right by the door there. Once again, these builds are all very simple, but they convey that clone base aesthetic, which is exactly what we're going for. Then we've got this little gun rack with some of those scout pistols. We're going to put it there on the right. And then we built up this little vent thing with some palisade bricks on it, so that's going to go on the left to kind of fill out that negative space. Then I just want to go and add in some crates to fill in the space here in the middle. Although this area is looking a lot better, it's still missing something. There's just too much gray over here. So what I went ahead and did was design this Republic banner. We just got some of the dark red and the white to sort of highlight it, and I put it right there in the middle, and it really finishes off this area, and it's got me feeling nostalgic about that clone base era when I was a kid and started collecting Lego. The next step is to fill out this area with some crates and everything, and that's simple enough, but I also wanted to cover up this plain green brick wall, so I put some tree limbs and some botanical pieces on there to fill it out and make it look a little more natural. So I'm really happy the way this turned out, and of course we can add more crates if we want to, but for right now I think it looks pretty good. Now while we're over here, I want to cover up this exposed plate at the base of the wall there. Originally I was just going to tile it off, but I think it looks a lot better with some rock work there, and it sort of looks like the base is carved into this natural rock face. And after I looked at this, I decided that I'm probably going to do the same thing over on the other side with the wall that has the turrets on it. Now I've got all those studs open on the slanted area that's held up by the ballpoint joints. And I've really put some thought into how I want to do this. And the first thing I want to do is have a Republic logo on it. So I actually went and stripped one of the Republic logo tiles off my Coruscant Guard gunship, and I think it's going to be perfect to have a big banner on that slanted area. I wanted to keep the design consistent with the one of the banner I just built that's on the inside of the base there, so I went with white and the dark red with that big logo in the center. I think it looks awesome. And then of course I just went around with some grades and different tiles, and look at that. I honestly stood back and just admired at this thing. I'm so glad I peeled that tile off the gunship. It just looks so good, and it really starts to give you an idea of the scale of this base. I mean, this is just the first level. I want to have a couple more levels of this thing, but man, I really love the way that looks. I hope you guys do too. Now that we have the lower part of the base pretty much finished up, I think it's about time I think about putting the roof on the hangar and getting the lighting sorted out, because once again I want to have a full other layer on top with a control room and, you know, a med bay and everything, and then on top of that have a big landing pad for the Coruscant Guard gunship. So there's still a lot to do in this clone base. We're nowhere near being done, but the first thing I want to do is talk about the original plan and some modifications that I want to do to the original plan. Because if we take a look at this micro build, it's really not exactly what I envision now that we've gotten into the project. This is more of what I envision as far as the base is concerned. I want to have that second layer that's going to be 32 studs wide, and then on the top we're going to have that big landing pad for a gunship. But obviously all of that extra weight is going to need to be supported well, so what I've preemptively went and done is ordered all these Technic 16x16 plates, and once again the base is 48 studs by 48, so this perfectly fits on there. And then I also went ahead and added 16x16 gray plates on the bottom to cover up that color. So if we take a look at that, that is a look at how the first layer of the base looks. I mean, it holds up the gunship no problem. And then of course, as you can see underneath, it's all nice and gray. It's not showing that black and that pink from those Technic plates. An issue I'm going to have to figure out next week is how to cover up the sides of these Technic plates. It's going to be pretty simple, just putting a pin in there and then adding a plate or something on the side. And then you're probably wondering what this hole is in the middle. It's actually for lighting. Now I know I could squeeze these wires through the plates and the Technic plates, but I don't want to risk breaking them. They are pretty expensive, but I will say they are worth the investment if you're a mock builder. They just totally transform and bring each and every build to life. As you can see, totally lights up this hangar bay just with two of them. I could add more if I want, but for right now I think that's pretty good. Anyways, on that note, that's going to wrap up episode 11 for us today. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys are enjoying the series if you're following along every week. I feel like the last few episodes I've really made a lot of progress, and you guys can start to see the vision starting to take shape. Now there's lots to do in this project still. We got Cutlet Queen's farm and the cantina and the market and the rest of the base to do, so there's lots more to accomplish, but I'm really happy with this week's progress. And once again, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.